On an annual basis, I have been going to El Paso, Texas, to see my grandmother. My problem is not that I must go to El Paso, it is that when I have to go back and pass through an immigration checkpoint. The U.S. has CBP checkpoints usually within 100 miles from the border. CBP stands for Customs and Border Protection. Everybody else calls them the Border Patrol, but they don't like that. They're really sensitive people. Border Patrol hurts their feelings. Sometimes when you're stopped, they want to search your vehicle. It all depends on the agent and the time of day. If you have too much luggage, that might be suspicious, as you could be trying to smuggle something. If you're carrying a reasonable amount of luggage, that too might be suspicious, since you could be trying to pass off as a normal traveler. And if you're carrying no luggage, then that too might be suspicious, since you could be trying to travel in a hurry. And don't make me talk about the passengers. They might be suspicious too. One night when I was heading to Denver after passing through Las Cruces, I stopped at the checkpoint and gave my EAD, my DACA employment authorization document. The officer asked me, where was I going? To Denver. Why are you going there? I live there. How long were you in El Paso? I actually started to count the days. If I arrived on Thursday night and today is Friday night, does that count as a full day? The officer wasn't really interested in my answer. He just wanted a reason to search the trunk of my car. I felt that I had no choice, and I said, yes. I pressed the button on my 2004 Cavalier to open the trunk. It, being a junker with 200,000 miles, the trunk door opened, but it doesn't pop up. It has to be lifted up every single time. Opening it with a key is quite the puzzle. It's a really old car. The officer asked again, please, open the trunk. It is open. You just have to lift it. I imagine the officer thinking, this is too much trouble. Sir, get out of the car. We're going to use the search dogs. I got out and waited there in the open. It was pitch black, except for the area surrounded by the floodlights. It was also dead silent. I could see where the light ended and where the void began. And although I couldn't see anything in the dark, I knew there were hidden shops, sand, craters, and immigration. I waited under the watchful eye and close surveillance of 5 officers, as if I was capable of beating them up and making a dramatic escape. I waited in a resting stance, slightly bent knees, hands on my waist, steady breathing, and looking at them without looking at them. Otherwise, I would learn how many officers it takes to screw a Mexican. The officer with the search dog asked me, does the passenger door open? Yes, you just have to unlock it from the inside. Cavalier 2004, manual lock, rolling windows, busted dashboard, $1,500. The officer told me that I could get going. He then asked, your trunk closes, right? Yeah. After that experience, I always wonder as I approach a checkpoint if they're going to ask me to search my car. Sometimes they just take my ID and that's it. Other times they don't even stop anyone and I keep on going. After one. Are we going to stop anybody today, dude? Nah, I don't really feel like it. Last year, after going to El Paso, I decided to visit the White Sands National Monument. I made a right turn in Las Cruces, and I drove until I reached the checkpoint. I always have my ID ready, and I gave it to the officer. Where are you coming from? From El Paso. Where are you going? To the monument. Why are you going there? To see the monument? Can I search your car? When she asked me to search my car, I remember a conversation that I had with Victor Galvan, who leads immigrant rights trainings in Colorado. I told him about my experience. He asked me why I let him search my car. I don't know. He told me to exercise my rights the next time I passed through a checkpoint. So in response to the officer's question, I said, no. The officer took a step back and went to talk with her supervisor. I usually don't look at them when I'm not talking to them, since I don't want to look mean at them. The officer came back and asked me if they could search my trunk. Is it truly necessary? Just answer the question, sir. No. The officer went back to talk with her supervisor. I assume they didn't really expect that kind of response. I imagine their conversation. He said no to searching his car. It's not supposed to be this way. What do I do now? Okay, what if you ask him again and see if he flinches this time? Sir, I asked him again, and he said no, again. What if we impound his car and search it later? A cavalier, we have standards here. Let him go. I was permitted to move on, and in a few miles, I reached the monument. Once I got to the monument, I went to their checkpoint. The attendant said, "Welcome to White Sands National Monument. Would you like a day pass or a season pass?" I'll take a day pass. Thank you. Here's a map and your car sticker. Enjoy your stay. When I am at a CBP checkpoint, I always figure that they will stop me, search me, and shake me up a bit. I have not heard of any DACA recipient being arrested or beaten at a checkpoint, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened or that I won't be the one it happens to. If the agents either think I or my car looks suspicious, that could be it for me, whether I'm guilty or not. Even spending a single day in detention could mean losing my DACA status, and that would be a disaster. But that day, near Las Cruces, 50 miles from the Mexican border, I was stopped at a checkpoint and I exercised my rights. And my rights, as written in the Constitution, were respected. For many Americans, the Constitution is something that they take for granted. But that day, when my rights were respected and the Bill of Rights was honored, I got to experience the most beautiful monument that America has ever created. Thank you.